to YouTube and make sure it doesn't interfere with our conversation. So, Jeremy, how are you?
Yeah, I'm on now.
Okay. All right. So nice to have you here, and good morning to you. If you're in Nigeria or in the UK, it's good morning. If you're in India, I think it's good evening, because India should be like 4 p.m. now. Is it, Jeremiah?
Right, sir. It's 3:39 now.
Okay, so I'm fine. I'm correct.
Yeah.
Okay. What I want to talk about today with all of you is about development. Okay. So everybody wants to grow. You want to develop yourself. You want to find development in where you work, in your house, in your family. So naturally, you will develop. That natural development is called growth. So in any way, you are going to grow. The only thing that will stop you from growing is maybe when you stop eating food. So you grow normally. So every human being or every living thing is a characteristic of living thing. So growth is part of it. So you will naturally grow. Now, depending on where you are, where you find yourself, and what you do with your environment, that could shape your growth potential and your growth trajectory. So it means that you were supposed to grow in a way that you begin to take advantage of certain things that society will provide. That is one. Or you just grow on your own. Growing on your own is that you grow from age 1, 2, 3, 4, you are 18. Before you know it, you are 25. Before you know it, you are 35. And the only argument you can put before yourself is that I am an elder, or I am a senior person. But then how does that growth corroborate with your development? All right. So there are two different things, and here I want to focus on rather development, so that as you are growing with age, you know that there are certain things you can achieve and certain things you can plan strategically to achieve. That is what development planning now will come about. So if you plan to develop, so if you want to develop, you have to plan. So development is more of a deliberate thing than growth. Okay. Growth, in a way, or movement, is that you have the potential. Naturally, every living thing has got the potential to move from one place to another, and have got the potential to live from every 24 hours. Okay. That is given. It's a given. You can do that. But now when it has to do with deliberate actions that where you want to take advantage of environment and influence it, in that case, you need to plan. So it becomes more strategic. It doesn't happen at random. So it is because of development that you all decide to go to school. It's part of development that you decide to join associations. It's part of development that you decide to come into this meeting in the first place. All right. So naturally, whether you come here or not, you will be who you are. You will grow, you will live till tomorrow, and your age will be added. But now coming here means that it's like you discover there is something extra that you want to add to yourself, and adding that will make you influence your environment better. And that is what we define as development planning. So you all know me, so I'm not going to bother you with that introduction. It's not necessary now. Just to let you know that the focus of this team, this organization, is about graduate employability and graduate entrepreneurship. How do you become more employable, and how do you take advantage of things to create your environment that will make you function and add value or deliver value and being paid for it? And that is what entrepreneurship is all about. So yesterday, just to give you a brief, I finished a project I was managing with my students. So if you are my friends on maybe Facebook, would have seen that, or LinkedIn, you would have seen that event. Because I am a climate, or I should say, carbon management consultant. This between last year and yesterday, I had 140 40 students to manage and 32 businesses in Nottingham County that have registered with us to measure their carbon footprints. And I told these students that at the end of this program, you become more employable than every other person that will graduate from university in the UK or any part of the world. And I mean exactly, and I can tell anybody about that. So yesterday we invited a chief executive officer from one of the institutions in the UK, and the person came and said, "You are far more employable than any other graduate." And I said, "Okay, it corroborates with what I've been telling you guys, that you need to take this consultancy seriously because that is what is needed in the industry." So the essence of creating this job and bringing it the same way, I want to reach out to people who might not be in the classroom with me, but who could value that certain things are emerging, that if you understand and take them in, you'll be able to function better. You become more employable in the place where you are than every other person. Okay, so that's what we are offering. Graduate employability and entrepreneurship is it. For this other program is cooking. Women, the future of work is a part of what we are developing at the moment. It's going to be a big masterclass and a course that people can want to see how the impact of artificial intelligence, the impact of technology, emerging issues like climate change, generally, is impacting women, and how can women prepare themselves to function? Because up until now, we still have that gap, gender inequality gap, as it is called, in different places, especially at top areas in engineering, mathematics, and the rest. We call them STEM. So now things are further changing. How can women, or how will women be better positioned in this skill transition, in this global employability transition, where jobs are moving from what we used to do on the table to things we are doing online? What skills will women need? All of those are embedded in this course. I'll let you know when it comes. And I think if you're a woman or you have a wife, this will be really, really important to you. So today I'll briefly talk about now personal development, looking at your discovery, development plan, and CPD, which is continuing professional development. So I've done this with so many people in the university. It has worked. They have all been employed now. Up until yesterday, I still got some my students who are looking for extra hours on how we can talk them through on developing their CVs that will be able to give them the required jobs that they want to. So I'm really happy about that progress that is being made. So what we do include that we help students and graduates and early career professionals to discover or rediscover themselves. We aim to provoke future thinking mindsets by revealing emerging trends and aid understanding of what employability is, career and professionalism. What is employability? And by definition or explanation, we said employability is that you find yourself doing a particular job and you develop the capacity to do the next job and to progress to the next job. So back in the days, people used to work as teachers. Maybe you are employed as a teacher in the primary school, and the highest you can do is to be transferred from one primary school to the other, and you retired as a teacher. That's fine if you want that. But these days is that we have transition. You have people who initially will study one degree, they move study another degree, they move study another degree, in line with emerging issues in the world. Because if you remain in one place, let's say for me, I studied biotechnology and genetics as first degree, and I woke up to the Nigerian environment and I saw that there was nothing like genetics and biotechnology anywhere. So if I ask people, they say, is that microbiology? In a way. So the environment was like oil and gas. So when I wanted to do a master's, I said that let me do it in oil and gas management. So towards the end of oil and gas, I now discovered that look, oil is going to run out, whether we like it or not, due to the global call for climate change mitigation. Okay. So instead of me now to focus on oil and gas, I decided to do a PhD in climate change impacts on oil and gas and energy systems. And from there, I move on to business school where I am and I teach business strategy. So I have transited from all of these backgrounds. I'm following trends, where the money is going and where the world is going. and that's where we follow. And that is what is the transition now. You don't bury yourself in one place and think, oh, I am like Jerome, maybe he's a botanist, he just want to be an ecologist, or I want to be any of this. You have to move. Things are changing. Don't bury yourself in one place. Just move. Where is the world going, and what are the emerging issues? And that is what GHub is about, is to equip people that like you who will join us with the knowledge of new things that are emerging in the industry. And if you have this knowledge, then you become more useful. Imagine that you come here and you hear me talk about artificial intelligence and tell you that, look, it's possible that the next World Cup, yeah, after the Qatar World Cup, you'll be able to watch that on metaverse, for instance. Nobody knows about metaverse. You go to your organization and tell them that, look, this accounting system, I think we can apply artificial intelligence. Even your director will be looking at you and say, what are you talking about? They become scared and say, okay, can you put that in practice? And you are able to demonstrate that we can actually apply artificial intelligence in accounting, artificial intelligence in education, artificial intelligence in different fields. So instead of your organization to look at you like someone they cannot promote, they would rather want to promote you into their strategic level or strategic management level to educate everybody on your thinking. Okay, so you need that knowledge, and that is what we are doing to equip subscribers with global employability power tools and support minority groups, that is in the UK and other places, on how to settle on with their dreams. So these are the people we are focused on. And so now let's look at professional development and what it is. By what I have on my note, I said it is a professional. The professional world is becoming increasingly competitive and is constantly changing. So professional development and continual learning is more important than ever in being successful and achieving career goals. So technologies and best practices are evolving and progressing in every industry, making it crucial for both new and experienced professionals to continue to develop their skills and honing their knowledge. If you work in a place, let's say you work in the bank as a cashier, and what is working in the bank as a cashier? To me, it's a boring job, but it's the easiest anybody can do. All it means is go take the money and give to people when they give you the teller. And these days now, let's look at that one in particular. That is a job somebody went to the university to study, to come and help banks do, right? There are other things they do behind balancing of accounts and other things. Now, these days, if I get into the bank, I don't need to interact with anybody. All I need to do is go with my bank card, insert, throw my money into the machine. The machine will count that money, give me a receipt, and I go away. I don't need to speak to anybody. I don't even need to talk to a security man. Okay. So if you studied accounting and you see that machine standing there, it's a threat to your job. It means you are not going to have any job. Banks will be like, machine is doing it. What do we do with you? What exactly can you help us do? So you begin to know that in the future, there's going to be a drastic downsizing of people from the banking industry because we have machines doing the job. So we cannot duplicate. Machines don't go on break. They don't go on coffee break. Machines are not hungry. They don't require maternity leave or paternity leave. Machines don't say they are tired. So they work 24 hours. So why would I hire Jeremiah that will go on break, go on maternity leave? I will have to pay all the leave grants instead of investing on a machine. That is the future. And we are saying that people need now to develop. So professional development is a continued educational career training embarked upon by students and graduates in the workforce to enable them develop or acquire new skills. There are new skills that are coming. Now, the argument is that yes, technology and artificial intelligence is going to take over jobs, right? Certain jobs, but it's also going to create jobs. What it implies is that you need new skills, you need new knowledge, all right, to be able to adapt or co-work. Co-working with machines is a concept we call cobotics. So working with robots. How are you going to work successfully with robots in a way that you don't, in a way that is effective and efficient? That is a question. If you don't have the knowledge, then you will be out of the industry. It doesn't matter the kind of degree or the class of degree you have. So these days, The people, of course, you know that the people that are ruling the world now, they are not some people with first class degrees. So whether you have a first class degree, it's your business. All we want is someone who will get the job done, who will do the job and deliver. So you need to stay updated on emerging trends and advance your career. So many professions, experts, expect their profession to participate in CPD. So if you are in an organization, they will expect you to up your game. They want you to be up and doing. Sometimes they even provide funding for you to develop yourself. And if you cannot develop yourself, just know that one day you receive a query or a circulator that, sorry, we cannot keep you anymore. So professional development can, in a way, be referred to many different types of relevant educational or training opportunities relevant to the professional or area of work. Okay, so if you are working in the banking industry or aviation industry, or if you are in education, if you are, name it, anyone industry, you need to know which skills are coming, what are the things happening outside that will impact, and be the first person to acquire those skills so that you'll be able to function and excel in your career. So you need to be up and doing, and that is what we are offering. So what is the movement of professional development, the process? Now, if you want to develop yourself, how do you start? How do you start developing yourself? The first thing is identify your goals and skill gaps. I will talk about that in a minute today. Identify your goals. Your goal will be, where do you want to go? What interests you? What is your motivation? What are the things? What are your value systems? So you need to ask these kind of questions to be able to set some goals. The next thing is prioritize your development. Don't do too many things at the same time, like myself, who does so many things, but I actually know that there is focus. All of this connects to one aim. So you prioritize your goal. Then you set a development plan that you can measure your goals. I'll give you an example of all of this if I get down. Take action to implement these goals and capture feedback. When you are implementing your goals, you need to I will talk about this, and reflect. At a point in time, you need to sit back and look at how far you have gone. All right. Look at how far you have gone and look at the things that you were able to accomplish. What were the success factors that enable accomplishment, and look at the things you were unable to accomplish, and what were the defeating factors. Write those things down. You are not going to do everything. Everybody will fail at a time. You cannot achieve 100%. Okay. So when you do that, you don't need to blame yourself. Oh, I couldn't do that. The lessons will be, what did you learn from there? What did you learn from your being able to achieve some of these goals? When you discover them, what can you do better? That is what reflection is about. Okay. In line with emerging issues, things will happen. 2 years or before the last 2 years, so 2019, nobody knew about pandemic. Nobody knew about, okay, we knew about pandemics, but for COVID and locking the global ecosystem down, it's not something that's happened during my time. I'm not aware of, or if I live in a place, I've not seen a place where you shut down everywhere and said, don't go out, there's a virus. Now it has happened. It has changed the way we work. It has changed our relationships and how we relate. And the things we know that we used to take for granted that are very important. We now know the importance of freedom, the importance of meeting somebody and saying hello along the street or hello along the corridor. Okay, so emerging issues will change, and you need to review your development along with these things. As I speak to you, so many organizations have reviewed their development, and they now know that sometimes they don't even need offices. Sometimes, yeah, they need or they need to once in a while meet with people and hang out. Okay, so you need to find your strength. So people have several times more potential for growth when they invest energy in developing their strength instead of correcting their deficiencies. Now, let me just ask you guys, anybody can listen. Why do you go to school? Why do you go to university? You can unmute yourself and give me an idea. Why do you go to school generally, or go to a place to learn or to study?
To have more opportunities for myself.
I didn't hear that. Sorry, Sunday.
To get more opportunities for myself for the future.
To get, yes, opportunities for yourself. Okay, that's fine. Yeah.
make me useful to myself and my society.
Okay, that is good, to make you useful to yourself and society. Jeremiah, what do you think? Okay, so because of resources they provide. All right. Now, okay, let me start with you. Let's say you already have these resources that the school will provide. Would you go there?
Yeah, if they have the resources that I don't have, I will definitely go for a reasonable price also.
Yeah, I'm asking you that. Let's say you have everything that they would offer you. Will you still go there?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Because I'm already, I told everyone I'm not interested in this education system right now, because they value price more than the education, value of education. Sometimes the teaching is not very sincere. They just come and teach stuff. They are not really into it. I sometimes feel like that.
That
a little bit of change in the education system would be perfect, I guess.
All right. Thank you so much, Jeremiah, for raising that point about education. So, Eukaria?
For me, I think one of the reasons is socializing with other people. Because when you're in your house learning, there's no way you can meet other people to, learn from them, learn from different backgrounds. So I think, when you go to the university, you meet other people and learn from them, and you can never achieve that when you're in your house alone.
So let's say you go to church. Can't you socialize?
It's different in a learning environment, because mostly in church, you just go and sit down and listen to a priest or a pastor. But like in the learning environment, you see how people behave, you hear people speak, you learn different things, and then you have break time where you can catch up with other people. The church is not able to provide all of these things and more, of what you would achieve.
What if you attend a youth camp?
Well, now that's different. What do they do in a youth camp? Do they teach? Do they teach different subjects? If they do, then that becomes a school.
Okay, that's all right. That's all right. Yeah, thank you for that. Go to university also to socialize for social reasons. That is cool. Right. So you go to school. From all what you guys have said, is like you go to school to learn things that you cannot find within yourself. You go and learn new things that you don't have, so that you'll be able to, like Jeremy said, affect your society better, isn't it? So you go to school to learn new things. Now, let me give you a perspective. Let's say there is no school. Okay, there is no formal school where you go through admission process and you are recruited. So let's say we don't have that kind of system. What will happen? Won't you be able to socialize? Won't you be able to impact your society? And won't you be able to make value get additional value? So let me hear you briefly. So just let's take a scenario where there is no school. Won't you be able to affect your society? Won't you be able to socialize and achieve so many things or other things? Yeah, I want to hear from you guys what you think. Picture just have a scenario where there is no school, formal place or institution where you go to learn, socialize.
I think in one way or the other, humans we actually create a school.
Yeah, Sunday, I think you are far away from your microphone, I'll guess.
Yes, I think in one way or the other, humans we want to form a class, form a social class, and associate with specific kind of person. So one day, forcefully or mistakenly create a school. So schooling is like a part of human. Like you can't really take it out of humans.
Okay, thank you for that. Jerome, did you want to say something?
Yes. We grow up to meet an established platform already for socializing and for academic development. But now, if we begin to think outside that system, like what if these systems are not already in place? What do we do? How do we develop ourselves? Then there will be another way of developing ourselves, of socializing, which I think we will have to think deeply and bring it out.
Excellent. Okay. Excellent, Jerome. Thank you for that. There will be alternative where we need to think deeply and bring it out. So I'm going to underline that point. So Eukarya, hands up.
Well, if there was no school, I will go back to the time of our parents. I think they socialized in places like the farm. When they go to farm, they meet other people from neighboring villages. So I'll say, yeah, through farming for our parents. That's the one in my head now.
Okay, very good. Thank you for that contribution. Now, I'm going to dwell only on not on what I think, but borrowing from your contribution to advance the next argument and why I said you need to find your strengths. Now, you go to school. There are two types of achievements, right, in life. There's what they call ascribed achievements, right, and there's what they call assigned achievements. Ascribed status. Now, when you were born with certain strengths naturally to exist and adapt to your environment, to your ecosystem. Biologically, that's what they call it. You have those strengths to live. Now, what Eukarya said is that you have the opportunity to go to farm without somebody having to necessarily teach you. So you evolve natural tendencies to adapt to your environment, to find how you cook your food, to find how you prepare and make your own food, make your own bed, make your own existence. Now, someone now built something and said, okay, we can make you learn something from different societies, and created an institution, they call it school. So people can now come together to learn things that ordinarily they don't have. Yeah. So my point would be that most of the things we go to school to learn about are things that we don't have. And sometimes we invested so much time learning about things we don't have than discovering ourselves, than the things we do. I give an example. If you're a footballer, have you heard that anybody has any PhD in playing football before? Or anybody has PhD in dancing? Or PhD in any of this, the class of people in the world, or PhD. These people, they don't necessarily go to school. They evolve their own God's-given talent. So when they said somebody dropped out of school to build Microsoft, it doesn't mean that ordinarily he's a bad student. No, you see. So going to school was going to be a waste of his own time, and he decided that, look, I have an inbuilt attitude and inbuilt capacity to build something. So I don't think I'm going to waste my time in school trying to learn something that naturally I don't have. So why not I focus on my strength? So that is why there's a new thinking now that, look, if you can focus on your strengths, if you can build on your strength, if you can adapt your own strength to the knowledge you get from the university, you do better. And look at people who are footballers. They get paid heavily. People who are singers or dancers, they get paid heavily, very, very well. They do very well, and not because they went to school to learn how to do this thing. Some of these guys have not even been to any audition. They started it like that. So my point is, it is more expensive if people are not doing what they can do best than focusing on what they are best at. So there are two things. You are best at something you want to learn, but there's something that you are just what it is. Okay. So when people are not doing what they are best at, they are also emotionally disengaged. You are best at maybe football, running, and speaking, interaction and communicating with people. There's so many things. If you look at yourself, you said, this is the kind of person that you are. And if you focus on developing that and using that, you stand a better chance than the things you are going to learn because, oh God, this guy is teaching us quadratic equation. Oh God, is teaching us the periodic table, periodicity of all the first 20 elements. What is that in the world? So when you start teaching some people who are good, who are best at what they do in those kind of environment, some of them will leave. And when they leave, they go to somewhere else. You call them dropouts, but they go somewhere else and become really excellent at what they are best at. Okay. So for us at GA Hub, that is what I am trying to create, that we want to focus on a blend of what best you were born with. Put that together with the blend of education you have, then you should be on top when it comes to development. All right. That is the fusion of these two: ascribe and achieve status. When you go to school, you achieve something, but everybody was born with an inscription, ability to do something that will influence the environment and make him or her happy in life. Okay. So if you have any question, you can let me know, or you can contribute. It's only me. I'm not teaching. I just want us to have a conversation. Okay. So you can unmute yourself if you have anything to say and let me know. If you agree or disagree, it's still fine to let me know. So look at this question. You can be anything you want or you want to be. How true is this? How much do you agree with this? You can be anything you want to be. Is it true or false? If it
Yes,
is
it's
true,
true.
okay,
I
tell me about
completely
it.
agree.
Tell me about it.
The best and famous example is Steve Jobs. Like you said, he's a dropout, but look where he's at now. The famous, talented person who followed his he wasn't into the studying because he already knew what they taught at the colleges, and he dropped out and find his own passion and chased it and became famous.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, go ahead. You care?
I believe it's very true because like I was listening to, is it Miles, this man called Miles Monroe, I think that's how they pronounce his name, and he was talking about the human mind and the human will. So the human will is actually very, very strong. Once you tell yourself, I can do it, you just find yourself doing it. And so it happens to me even personally. Sometimes when I, just tell myself, forget about it, I feel it's deep down, I just become lazy and withdrawn. But when I say I can do it, I find myself actually doing it. So the human will, nothing can actually defeat that. If you say you can, you will.
Excellent. Thank you for that, Jerome.
Okay. I'm going to approach it from a biblical perspective.
Okay.
The Lord said about the children of Israel when they were building the Tower of Babel.
Yeah.
He said, if these people are united and they have become to do what they are doing, nothing will be able to stop them from achieving what they want to do.
Okay.
So if you now separate those people individually and put them individually, that was a collective commitment and unity and agreement, the power of agreement. Now, if they go individually on their own, if a man proposes to achieve anything or wants to become anything in life and focus on it, nothing. The only person that can stop him is himself. But if he did not decide to turn back and approach it, he will get it and become whatsoever he wants to become.
Excellent. Thank you so much for giving us that ecclesiastic view of this concept. That really makes sense. Okay, that's fine. Let me see what I have next on this slide so that we can argue it. So the argument here is that you cannot be anything you want to be, but you can be a lot more of who you already are. Does it contradict your initial belief, your initial comment?
I'm eager to hear your explanation for that.
No, I'm not spoon feeding you. We're having a discussion, so feel free to to tell me what you think. It's freedom of thought, and that's how we learn. So we learn by you playing around with this thing logically, so that you can expound your own reasoning. So you cannot be anything you want to be, but you can be a lot more of who you already are.
Yes, I think I can say something about. Should I go ahead, sir?
Yes, please.
Okay. Yes, it did not contradict what you said before, what is above there, because many a times what you want to be, you may not really have the innate ability to achieve it.
Okay.
It may be because of some personal interest, maybe because of money in it, or because let's assume it's a career you want to pursue. Then you are pursuing it with the focus on money and probably the fame or the respect or whatsoever privileges that is attached to that profession. That may be the reason why you are pursuing it. Inwardly, in depth in you, what is required to achieve it may not be there. But if you now sit down and now discover what the area that you can flow, those innate ability qualities you have can flow freely with ease, that you don't need to struggle in them, then you can be more better in that area.
Thank you so much, Jerome, for that. I really appreciate. Yeah. So, anyone else want to say something? You cannot be anything you want to be, but you can be a lot more of who you already are. So Godwin has joined. Thank you, Godwin, for joining, though late. So yes, Jerome, that is what it is. Now, you can be anything you want to be. Yes, you cannot be anything you want to be, but you can be a lot more of who you already are. It's just that explanation. Okay, you can be a lot more of who you already are than trying to be anything. Do you know what, when people said you can be anything you want to be, I want to be, so is the mind now so open and widely open that, oh, I want to be, if you ask me when I was in primary school, oh, I want to be an engineer, or I want to be a doctor, or I want to be, we didn't know that there are jobs that pays more than being a doctor or being an engineer or being a nurse. We're just told that because these were people in our society, so I want to be like that. Probably because they could afford to buy a 1504 car and drive, or they could afford certain things. We were not exposed to that there are jobs out there. There are certain things that will pay far more and give you the freedom of the mind to. Nobody will say, I want to be a footballer. Back in the days, nobody would say that, oh, I want to be a footballer. I would say, what is that? Play football. Because we didn't see it that way. But now, how about football? Because you can be a lot more better of the person that is in you, that skill, that ability to discover yourself. That is the explanation of it. So focusing on natural talent is the idea. So we often devote more time. So I'm going to read this quickly so that we meet up with time. We often devote more time to our shortcomings than our strengths. This sometimes lead to catastrophe. Catastrophe means that you begin to blame yourself when you cannot achieve the things you want to be. Yeah, the things you want to achieve. If you cannot achieve the things you want, because look at what economics will tell you about human wants, they are unlimited. So you want this, they give you, want another, they give you, want another, they give you, want another. So until you die, your wants will forever continue to increase. And if you focus on those things without your own strengths and abilities, then you might be catastrophic. And catastrophic can sometimes lead to schizophrenia or make you begin to overthink or hyperthink. Okay, so overcoming deficit is an essential part of the fabric of our culture, of our life. So in the US, for instance, about 77% of parents gives more attention to student lowest grades than higher grades. And it happens to me as a person. When I was in school, I wasn't struggling with studying environmental related science courses. So I was excellent, and I will say that without fear of contradiction, in geography and biological sciences in my SSs, in my senior secondary school. That's what I mean. So, but my mind was not to go to school and study environmental sciences. I wanted to study something to become a doctor. So I was struggling with going into areas that I have poorer performance than focusing on areas that I am excellent at. But today, where I am, where do I find myself? Back to environmental sciences. That is my strength. And I don't struggle doing this. You see? So you don't struggle when you do things that you are passionate about, when you do things that you are naturally driven by, and it connotes with your own value systems. Okay. But by the time you begin to say, oh, I need to become an aeronautics engineer, then you need to study mathematics, you need to study so many things. You have sleepless nights studying the things that ordinarily you have no concern for. So teachers reward excellence, and those of us that teach in university, we reward excellence and with apathy rather than investing where the students' great potentials are. You see, so if you're not careful, you mark a student based on the script, but the script doesn't define the personality and the strength of the students always and oftentimes. So there was a guy called Michael Jordan, footballer. This is a question. If you know, Michael Jordan is someone everybody knows. Why was he not a footballer instead? Or why was Muhammad Ali not a footballer? Or why was Muhammad Ali not a medical doctor? Or why was he not an engineer? Okay. So that is that what your strengths can give you than the things you struggle to learn, and to help your development even faster. If you want to improve your life and lives of those around you, you must take action. Each person has a greater potential for success in specific areas, and the key to development is building on who you already are than exactly what you want to be. Okay, so there are some special things about everybody. When you find yourself at the crossroads, you need to discover yourself. By discovering yourself, you need to ask yourself some questions. What are your values? What are you passionate about? What are your ambitions? What are your fit patterns, reaction, and what's a possible impact? Okay, when you do that, first you need to do a self-assessment of yourself. You need to understand what makes you who you are. This thing, sometimes I know that if we live in an environment that is erratic, you might not have time to even collect yourself together and think carefully about your life. So when I was growing up, not growing up, when I graduated from the University of Calabar, then I was living in staff quarters. So sometimes I will go down towards the river and just stay alone quietly and think about what is the next step after graduation from this university. I would think just myself alone in the evening, cool time. Sometimes it might be dark. I'll just sit back carefully on my own and think, so that I don't get carried away by all the politics, all the student issues, and family matters, and all of these things. Just collect yourself into a space and think, what can I do with what is available? What is my strength? What is my passion? And I can assure you, if you stick to any plan you want to make, you get to where you want to go. I am a living example. If you know it, Jerome, we were in school together, you know how tough it was. So carefully, I didn't do anything extra than taking my own destiny into my hands and decided not to follow the crowd. It's as simple as that. And in everything you do, you find passion, you will go. So always analyze your performance and behavior, work effectively with other people that are reasonable, seek opportunities to learn and develop, use feedback, ask people, how am I doing? Naturally, if you get feedback, use it. Then what skills are required in the industry, and check if you have these skills. Do you have them? So it will surprise you that sometimes when people hire guys to come work for them, they hire people who cannot deliver. So why would when people ask that you need to have 2 years of experience or 3 years of experience, and graduates begin to query them, I just finished from the university, where am I supposed to get this experience? When I used to ask that question, but now I now know that they are not wrong. They are not wrong, because during your holiday you need to do something. If you are still studying, take your time to volunteer in places especially related to where you want to go. and do things in that order so that you'll be able to create a CV. Experience is not only from paid employment, it includes volunteering, it includes self-driven activities that you do on your own. Okay. This is how you build experience. So if you have been at university for 4 years, you cannot, after 4 years, say you don't have at least 2 years experience. Let's say year one, you are in the university, you don't understand, so you focus on your academics. Year two, you try to build a CGPA and understand. In your third year, you should be volunteering. In your third year, you should be in employment. Even if they don't pay you, you have to walk to that place. You have to seek for finances or transport to get there and be able to offer your services. You are after your future, not the immediate get. Okay, I have done all of these things. They have paid off for me, and I'm seeing students in hundreds every year through development, and it's been paying. So there is testimony on ground, and that is what I'm advising you to also do. So in the future, these are the skills you will need to demonstrate now going forward: ability to manage time, project management, networking and communication, teamwork and understanding other people, emotional intelligence, promotion, and how do you reward people, leadership, problem solving, critical thinking, IT, creativity and innovation. You need to be innovative. To be a 21st century graduate, you must be innovative. You must be able to think and create events so that once you are employed, your employer will not come and help you to think or help to do what you are. So you need to create events within your job binder or within your role and how to evolve. So that not someone that they always ask you to do things, ask you to do things, ask you. If you don't ask you, you don't bring any idea to the table. You should have ability to negotiate. You should have commercial awareness and persuasion. So if I ask you guys in this meeting, what is the rancor between Ukraine and Russia, and what is the UN saying, and what is the US saying, what is the European Union or what is NATO saying. That is a current issue that everybody is careful. How informed are you? That is now geopolitics. If you are interested in IT, right, what is the position of artificial intelligence as of today, and what are people building? How is the metaverse functioning, and how are people buying and investing in metaverse estates? That's what you are looking at, isn't it? If you are in which field are you? If you are anywhere you are, I think in one or two ways I'll have an idea of how these things are going to reshape. You need to be commercially aware. If you are in energy industry, what is the transition conversation from fossil fuels into green energy, right? And what is the future of green vehicles, or what we call electric vehicles, and how will that affect consumption? You need to be aware of things in your industry so that when you go, you don't talk or blab. You be able to provide specific things commercially aware of your industry. You need to be organized. Project manager, I mentioned that before. Motivation, perseverance, build confidence, work under pressure. Working under pressure is very important. Okay, sometimes you have. So like me, the whole of last week, I've been planning event. It held yesterday. I have to prepare to talk to you guys this morning. So because it was a promise I made, I had to do everything possible, even it had to do with sleeping late to prepare to do this. So you need to understand that there is pressure, and nobody is going to, food is not going to come when you are sleeping. Okay. So that is really important. So as I begin to talk about it, going to the end now, is ability to set your goals clearly. Goal setting is very important. So if I give you a story, maybe you've heard me talk about this before. I will repeatedly say it about goal setting. During my matriculation in the university, matriculation, if you don't know, is that's welcome that you have, an inaugural welcome into the university in your first year. So someone dashed me or gave me a book, like a diary. And on the second page of that diary, I wrote what I was going to be, what I was going to achieve in line with my age. So I said I was going to graduate from the university, that university, at least when I'm 24 years old. I'm going to finish my master's degree at least, or at most rather, when I am 30 years, I should finish. I should be able to get married when I'm 30 as well. I should be able to get a PhD when I'm 40. If I don't get that at that 40, I should not begin to go to school and disturb people that I want to. I wanted to go to the university. I made this plan. It was actually in that book. Unfortunately, I can't find it because probably it's in my archives in my village. Okay, Godwin. Godwin, are you there? Your hand is up.
Sorry, it's not a question actually. I mistakenly did that. Sorry, sir.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, so you need to make plans. You need to plan and be committed to your plan. Put your plan inside, as I put it on the cover of the book that you play with always, so that you look at that plan. Because when you plan, it puts you on your toes to really understand that at this point, look, I need to get these things done. Yeah, the plans is not going to go 100% accurate for me. My plans did not go all the way accurately, but I've achieved everything that was listed in that plan. All right, with plus or minus certain years. For me, I said I was going to finish my PhD at most before. I was realistic. People finish their PhDs even when they are 20, 25 years. But I look at my own background, very poor background. There was nobody, this money was not going to come from anywhere. So I knew there was going to be this kind of roller coaster movement. But I said, no matter how long it will stretch, I should be able to get this PhD before I am 40 or at 40 at most. Okay. And I said, okay, university plus ASO strike, everything at 24, I should get out of there. Get married when I'm 30. Whatever happens, if I'm unable to find my wife, then I think I'll just find anybody. In that case, I also because my wife. So the plan was to achieve these things. Okay. But I also, of course, I prayed about it and said, these are the things I'm going to achieve. And I followed that. All those things have been achieved, right? They were not like so ambitious plans. I didn't plan that I was going to go to the UK, for instance, or live in the UK. It wasn't any plan, but I know that there are plans that are synergistic. We call them synergistic planning. If you achieve one, it will lead you to achieving the other. All right. If you achieve the other, it will lead to achieving. So you don't need to plan for those ones that are naturally synergistic, but target the ones that once you get them, they will achieve other, they will come with other things to you. Okay. I didn't plan to have children because I know that if I'm married, I will have children. So why would I plan to have children? That's my thinking. So if I'm married, I will. So you need to understand. Now make those plans smart. By giving this explanation is to let you know that you can make very specific plans, very specific. So you have to make a plan that I am going to speak to Jerome tomorrow morning, not to say I'm going to speak to somebody tomorrow morning. Okay, that's what the plan need to be. It need to be very specific. It need to be measurable. It need to be achievable, not something from the sky. It need to be realistic, and it need to be bounded by time. So for my own plan, there was no time as in having the time. Rather, what was there was my age, and my age is by timing, isn't it? So that's what I use as the time bound for my own plan. So let me go further and give an example. So if you look at this now, identify clearly what your goals are. So I give an example here. This goal said, I want to be an engineer. Sorry, that's a mistake saying engineers there. The question you need to ask yourself is, what does it take to become an engineer? What engineers do? If you become an engineer, and so what will becoming an engineer give you? What are alternatives to being an engineer? I want to be rich. Okay, you want to have plenty of money. What does it feel like to be rich? And if you are rich, and so what? Right? Is that important to you? So you need to ask a few questions about it. And there's nothing wrong in your plan. Okay, everything you have, put it in your plan. Of course, you are going to have a long list of plans before you do what economics called a scale of preference and begin to prioritize them, which one comes after the other, and then choose maybe two or three to chase at a time. Be very specific. So by asking these questions, you'll be able to revise them. Example, becoming an academic or becoming a lecturer like myself implies that you're going to teach, you are going to research. And if this is actually not what you want to make or what you want to achieve, or it doesn't make you happy in life, then you have to change it and do something else. So possible areas of development will include your academic development, your professional development, your career development, and personal development. Okay, all of these are important. So you don't take your own personal development out of it. Personal development here means maybe you need to go to the gym, you need to work out yourself, you need to be emotionally balanced, you need to be happy, you need to attend seminars, workshop on things that will deal with your own self. You need to also shower, to do makeup, look beautiful, buy your good clothes, and be a human being. Everything that has to do with your own personal issues. That's development. Career, you need to attend career fairs, look at presentations like we're having now, business challenges, and look at what is all around it about your career, your ability to move from one career to another. Professional bodies, become a member of different bodies. Okay, if you finish, that's where you gather information about areas to grow. Academic, of course, you know what academic skills are. If you want to go to the university or you finish, that is fine. No, make sure you have those academic skills that when you are called upon, you'll be able to deliver. Stage two, set short, medium, and long-term goals. So I'll give an example. Let's say your long-term goal is to obtain a job in the telecom industry 6 months after graduation. That is your long-term goal. Your interim goal would be to achieve maybe a first-class degree to be able to get there, or you'll be able to, the short-term goal would be to improve your attendance in class so that you'll be able to achieve your degree and obtain a job in 6 months after graduation. So you see how chronological this planning could be. The second one said complete a professional training in project management so that you secure an entry-level job in project management. That is a medium-term goal, and the long-term goal is to become one of the best meet that project managers in HS2 projects, in any project that you are. So once you are clear and have aggregated your goals, begin by categorizing them into short, medium term, and long term goals, and ensure that you set deadlines for achieving them. And as the goals are grouped, you notice that some are dependent on achieving initial ones, so they become synergistic in a way. When you finish, you have to prioritize your goal. Avoid working towards many goals at the same time. Avoid committing to many things. Ask yourself which is the least important. Cross the least important ones. As you cross them, call them ABC. You can use any other method if you like. Once completed, focus on the list, on the one that you cross last, which is the Z one. You could decide to focus on at least 2 or 3 goals at the same time and try to put some goals aside, right? It is a golden rule to do that in development process, because having more goals at the same time could potentially put the other goals at risk of not achieving them. So that's what I would suggest to you do. Make sure the goals are smart. I've said this before. Give an example here of a specific goal. What exactly will I do? To ask yourself. Let's say you planned yesterday to attend G Hub webinars on development. How is it measurable? How do you measure it now? The measurability is what I'm discussing. How will I know I have achieved this? So keep attendance sheets for myself. So you're going to mark yourself attendance today that you have attended. So that is measurability. How is it? What do you achieve? Given the time, internet needs, and resources, is this thing achievable? So before you come here, you've borne your data, as I'll call it, for about 1 hour or more now, coming here to listen. So you said, yes, I will ensure that I don't have any commitments. You have invested your time, and then you've also invested money to buy your data that you are using. Is it relevant? Does this aligns with your aspiration? Why do you choose to come here? It offers some opportunity to network and build employability skills to be able to get the job on time. That is what, if it is important. So what is the time boundedness of it? What is the deadline? Today, Saturday, maybe 10 to 11, and it's a different time in wherever you live, but you have sacrificed it. And probably this is going to run for 8 weeks. This is how you set, so what I will assume is a smart goal. Okay, you can do that across other ones if you like. So put goals into action. Do not just make the goals and go to sleep. To make this happen, you will need to identify opportunities to achieve this and engage in terms of this goal. or how you can turn your goals into action and make sure you achieve deadlines. For examples, if your goal is to improve your commercial awareness in energy industry by 2022, you may set and engage in different activities such as attending energy webinars, reading energy magazines, joining young professional bodies, etc. So one important element of actioning your goals is setting a time to review and reflect. Although when you finish, there's always a time where you sit down to think of how far you have come and what is the way forward. That is really so things to ask yourself about is having set the goals and map out all of this development journey. It's important to ask yourself a few questions. How committed are you to it? Am I prepared? Are you prepared to change and make these possible sacrifices like you have made to attend this webinar today? Are you motivated enough or have enough energy? You have enough focus and support needed to sustain yourself throughout, let's say, today's webinar? If we get to the end, then it's a yes for you. So you must be honest and realistic to yourself, because you could easily fail if you are not careful in planning. So if your answer to any of these questions above is yes, then you might need now to review your objectives. It is just using this, but as you go forward, you know what to do. When you finish, there's need to invest your time now in how do you achieve. So if I'm going to summarize, I think I'm going towards the end now. You first need to plan. Okay, you need to do a diagnostics of yourself. What is important to you? What are your values? Where do you want to go? And ask yourself, do you have enabling characteristics or properties to get to that place? And if you don't, or there are some you have, but they are not partial, sorry, they are not optimal, what you need to do is to invest your time in planning. When you plan, the next thing to do is to take action. Those actions are taken through self, professional, or career development, where you need to invest in opportunities that will make you up your game. Okay, up your game to a level where you become useful, and that is through continuing professional development. So TPD itself is a combination of approaches, ideas, and techniques that will help you manage your learning and growth. Okay, the focus of it is on the benefits that professional development can be or can bring you into the real world. Perhaps the most important message is that one size doesn't fit everything. So whenever you are in your career now, or if you are not you're going to planning to you are planning to be in career in the future, you need CPD, and you need to be very, very exact about CPD. So CPD is not always formal and linear. It's not something you need to possibly apply to get a job before you now know that you are developing yourself professionally. There are different ways I've shown you that you can develop yourself: by volunteering in an organization, by reading a book, by watching movies that are inspiring, not watching Spartacus, for instance, or no, I don't know, which is a new series now. So you need to know exactly areas where you can develop yourself. There are videos you could watch on how to invest in properties, videos everywhere. So those are the things that you learn, invest your time in, that they will change your reasoning, and they will answer, oh, this thing I've been struggling with. There is nothing, there is no situation that you are now that thousands of people have never been through, and they came out successfully. How did these people manage this situation is a question you ask. And if you avail yourself an environment where people discuss these things, you know that you don't have a problem. You don't even have a complaint. Sometimes there are certain things we complain about. We don't know that the solution is just very close. You need the right association. You need the right engagement to be able to achieve it. And you need to change some of the things you consume. Just check yourself. What are the, where do I spend my time? What are the things I watch? How many hours I'm on Facebook, and what am I doing there? On Instagram, what am I doing there? Which people do I follow? What is the quality of our conversation? And what actually am I gaining from there? If you're not getting anything, I don't see any reason why you should be there. In a way, even when I was growing up, if I have a girlfriend that I know this one is not adding anything to me, I don't stay in that relationship for a long time. I just know this one, nothing. Just find a way to go away. Even if I have friends, boys and girls, if you don't have too much things, so you should be able to bring something to the table, right, to be able to sustain a relationship. If you are not, then there's just no need hanging around. You just have to move if you are a development focused person like myself. So CPD can also include self-directed study. So you can read a book on yourself, by yourself, get to the market and buy a book. And I can assure you there's so many things on books, inside books, that people don't read. They only complain, oh, the government is not helping, oh, the government is not helping, the government. You will complain till tomorrow. Government will not help. In fact, it will even get worse. So you need to take a different dimension, a personal dimension, to be able to get to where you want to go. And there are opportunities as I speak to you. There are opportunities. There are opportunities. And to know that there are opportunities is to see that there are problems. Okay. So why we have so many problems and you think there are no opportunities? It's just being able to carefully diagnose how you can deliver value to that problem, and then you see how life can change. Okay, so you can do e-learning courses. There are books. And if you want to develop yourself, sometimes you function as a mad person. You cannot be normal and be doing and be doing things that everybody is doing, and you think you'll be different. No, you need to behave abnormal. You need to take a different dimension from every other person before you can be celebrated and make yourself outstanding. Okay, so it's a record of what's your experience and learn how to apply the things you learn. So in conclusion, gentlemen, you need to continue to strategically plan your development, invest in CPD activities that are bespoke. When I say bespoke, I mean they are relevant and really suit your own situation. Build evidence and years of experience, network for the purpose of development, meet with friends because those people are fanciful, think different. So me, when I grow up, I decided that look, I'm going to network with everybody, even if you are 5 years old, but there's something I can pick out from you. It's better than following somebody that is 40 years old that's got nothing to offer. And you have people who are always giving you money. You need to avoid people who give you money. Sometimes even avoid your parents if they give you food too much. Go somewhere and feel hungry. Then you can think better. Because when you stay home and mommy is always giving you food, you just you think life is like that. One day when they are no more, then reality will now become the order of the day. So explore free digital learning tools and invest your time. Get a mentor if you like. Get someone to mentor you, and don't be ashamed to ask anybody for mentorship. Okay, invest your time, invest your small money that you have on yourself, and I think you'll be able to be fine. We have a mailing list here. If you want to join, I can put this form in the chat box just for you to sign up so that we can be sending emails and sending communications. We have that before. So thank you, Sunday. I think you reminded me yesterday that I need to put this up so that other people can sign it gradually. We build an audience that with time we can use. If you want to contact me on Facebook, I'm already there. On LinkedIn, I'm already there. If you want to send WhatsApp message, you can send. I think the most reachable person anywhere you can talk about if you want. So let me hear your own comments, your own questions, and everything you have to say. That will be the end of today's session. And I want to say thank you so much for coming. If I'm unable to say something that will inspire you or that you think you didn't learn, pardon me. Next time I won't try it again. I'll try and remodify the way to suit you, and we all grow together. So yes, thank you, and I'll leave the floor now for you to say something.
The session was great, so thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome, Jeremiah.
Please, you need to take back that statement you just made last. that statement is not proper, because this content is a content that sometimes we pay to join classes that they give to. We pay to join classes that will tell us all all these things you just poured out for free. So I know what I've paid so far in attending online seminars and programs that they pour out these things. I had to pay to listen to this thing you just said for free. So when you said sorry, gosh, is completely understandable because the content is rich. Uh, I'm even intending to reach out, send this out to some people who are not here so that I need them to listen to this. Because sometimes when I'm talking to my people, the kind of people I associate around, when I'm talking to them, they don't connect. And I begin to feel